Slay the Spire 2 has 5 characters. Each one has a key strategy that beginners can get into using largely common and uncommon cards. You're going to need to know about all of these cards to progress in Slay the Spire. We're going to take you through the best beginner strategies using commons and uncommons, what you can do to win more of your runs, the cards you should be focusing on early for Slay the Spire 2. We're going to go through each and every champion. We're going to go Ironclad. We're going to go Silent. We're going to go the Regent. We're going to talk about Necrobinder and the Defect. We're not going to talk about our friend randomly chosen character. We are going to go through each and every one of these characters. We're going to tell you what cards to look for, what the strategy is that has the most support, and how to go about getting into these decks. These are obviously not going to be catch-alls. I just want to say, like, sometimes you're going to get offered a rare early. Sometimes you're going to get a lovely, lovely whale gift that's going to change your strategy completely. Sometimes you're going to see an early relic and everything is going to change. All that's fine. That's the beauty of Slay the Spire 2. But as a beginner in a fairly regular game, things go straightforward. You don't get anything crazy from the whale. These are the commons that you can almost always build toward because you're going to see more commons than anything else, and this is what we're going to look for. We're actually not going to use the game itself to do this. It's just the game is pretty, so it was there for the intro screen. We are instead going to head over to untapped.gg. Untapped is a major video game website. They do Marvel Snap and they do Magic the Gathering cards and stats. They're doing Slay the Spire 2 content. We're going to use them because they're a nice, easy way to look at all the stuff we need. So we're going to kick it off with Ironclad. We're going to look at first his commons, then his uncommons. We're not going to look at all these cards. We're going to look at what the main strategy. The starting strategy for Ironclad is really, really simple to me. It's you want to apply vulnerable. You already have vulnerable in his basics, right? His basics comes with bash, a damage to vulnerable. It's not the best card, but it does the job at getting vulnerable going. You have multiple other ways at the common level of getting vulnerable out. Vulnerable and strength buffs are kind of what we're doing here. We're going for, we also have Tremble, which is right down here, applied to vulnerable for 1. And then we have the lovely, lovely Thunderclap, which is 4 damage, apply 1 vulnerable to all enemies. Both of those are really useful. We can check upgraded, lovely. I love untapped. We can check updated. We get 3 vulnerable or 7 damage with it. It's really good stuff, right? This is going to deal a lot of damage. It's really strong. From there, what we want to be doing, we can also, the other thing we can do with this is we can use Setup Strike. The card Setup Strike is going to say deal 7 damage, gain 2 strength this turn. All of those are going to make each hit do more damage. Now, also at the common spot, we have multiple hitters. We have Sword Boomerang, 3 damage to a random enemy 3 times. And again, that's 5 damage, right? If we have Setup Strike, that vulnerable is going to make it do more damage. And we have Twin Strike, which is 5 damage twice. So those are what we're going to do at the common level to gain our damage. Our basic goal is to use Ironclad's self-healing so that we can sort of stay alive, so that we can do we can take a couple hits early and just do so much damage that we get out of the battle relatively quickly. It's possible to get into block, it's possible to get into exhaust, and eventually you're going to want to combine this with some maybe lose health and exhaust stuff. Cards like Bloodletting end up good eventually, cards like Blood Wall end up decent eventually. These are places that you can go, right? Anger is another, by the way, decent way to just say, okay, I turned 0 energy into 9, 10 damage. So that's a really powerful thing to do. And eventually you can combine with HP loss strategies and exhaust strategies. Blast strategies are harder to get into and they tend to need rares. So keep those in the back of your mind for later. The problem with starting with exhaust strategies often exhaust random cards, and they're really hard to do until you start getting upgrades. And as you're losing health, you might need more than in Slay 1 ever, you're going to need to use your campfires to heal, which means you don't have access to as many upgrades. However, what you do have is some really good uncommon payoffs for this strategy. One of the best of those is, where is it? Dominate. Gain 1 strength for each vulnerable on the enemy exhaust. So you get 2 or 3 stacks of vulnerable on one enemy. That's 2 or 3 strength, right? Sounds good. That is not temporary. That's permanent. If 3 different enemies have 1 vulnerable, you now have 3 strength. Again, absolutely excellent. Dominate is a stellar card. Incredibly powerful. Actually worth the upgrade too. Yeah, Doesn't exhaust means you get to play it multiple times per battle, which is just utterly, utterly disgusting. You're going to get other benefits here too. You're going to be able to play Inflame. Inflame get 2 or when upgraded 3 strength, just casual. Again, no extra work. You just play it. It's a power. You play it once and you're just straight up done. Um, because we end up taking a lot of cheap skills in this build because we're trying to get that vulnerable and then hit as many times as possible or get that strength and hit as many times as possible. Rage can be one of our main block cards. It can be part of our block pattern. Whenever you play an attack this turn, gain 3 block. That ends up being really strong. We have 3 more cards to talk about. We have Taunt. Taunt is one of the most important and cool cards here. 7 block and 1 vulnerable, which is amazing. Basically says, oh no, I actually need to block. Boom, no problem. I'm still going to be able to get my vulnerable going. Um, we have that. We have, what else did I say? We have Vicious and we have Whirlwind. So we have Vicious whenever you apply vulnerable, draw 1 card, make sure you see stuff, and then we have Whirlwind. Whirlwind is going to combine with some stuff later in the game. Whirlwind, when you end up getting a bunch of extra energy, we just saw a get like 3 extra energy to give up 3 hit points card at the common level, and then you have Whirlwind, and you're turning that into 5 damage like 8 times, right? Except if they have vulnerable, it's more. If they have strength, it's more. And that way you get through all the really early battles. Those are the cards you're looking for your early Ironclad runs. That's the easiest way you're going to find to win as you're learning this champion right now. Good. Let's go over to my personal favorite character at the common level. It is Silent. And the best thing you can do with Silent is the Sly discard build, and it's not close. It's going to be really, really tempting to take a lot of other cards here. Oops, I said common, not uncommon. Um, it's going to be really, really tempting to take a lot of other cards here, and they can help you stay alive. But what you really want is I'm going to show you the first 2 most important cards. You want Acrobatics, draw 3, discard 1 is arguably the best common in the game. And arguably the best upgraded common is Prepared, which becomes draw 2, discard 2 for 0, which is utterly absurd. Because what are you getting when you do that? Once you build your deck, you're getting 7 damage to all enemies, and that's like the weaker one. You are getting the incredibly strong and should probably be uncommon Untouchable. Untouchable 9 block for 0, 9 block for drawing 3 cards, 9 block for free with Prepared is completely stupid. How about 12 damage in the same way? Okay, Ricochet allows that, which is again incredibly, incredibly strong. So you have all these at common, and then you have Dagger Throw like as a backup plan if you need an extra discarder if you're not seeing your stuff. But like half the commons work with this game plan, and that is insanely strong. If you need a way to stay alive as you're doing this, as you're not seeing Untouchable, so on, you have Piercing Wail, which is again just a free turn against multi-hit enemies, against groups of enemies, where you get negative 6 strength to the entire enemy team. That's going to be our main strategy. Again, poison is fine, right? But poison doesn't give you block for doing your thing. So that means you have to mix your block and poison. Shivs are fine. Only Cloak and Dagger is really giving you shivs and poison, and a lot of the shiv cards are expensive. Acrobatics says I get my block and my damage from doing the thing I'm doing. It's the best thing to do, and I think right now the strongest thing to do that any champion does in the game at the common level. So Acrobatics and Prepared to get the Sly cards. And then as you go up to the uncommon rarity, things just get better for this champion. You get things like Backstab, so you have upfront damage. You get things like Calculated Gamble, so you can both get set up immediately, right? It gets you set up like instantly, and it helps you get all your discards off at once. It exhausts, but fine, you only need it once. You always take escape plan. Just take escape plan when you see it as a general rule. But what else? We have Haze. We have a Sly that's applied for poison. That's 6 poison to all enemies. If you upgrade it, it's a card I almost always take. It's one of my first upgrades where possible. If we need more discards, again, Hidden Daggers is another 0 cost discard. This lets us run the discard deck with shivs if we're not seeing the other damage cards. I prefer not to do that, but it is a thing you can do without too much trouble. You can mix it with poison as well. You can use Noxious Fumes and just say, okay, so I've got Noxious Fumes out, and my Noxious Fumes just does damage, and I can just keep discarding, blocking, especially if you see certain relics that amplify that, and that ends up being this powerful strategy. I will take like a billion of the blocking card, what's it called? Untouchable. If I have Noxious Fumes, and just say, I'm just going to keep drawing, discarding, and use that to protect me, and Noxious Fumes will eventually win me the game. I have not liked Memento Mori. Fair warning, Memento Mori is for the strategy, but it hasn't done much. What has been insane is Pinpoint, because what you're doing, all these cards are skills, and you just get a free 17 damage most turns. 1 or 3 for 17 is great, and it upgrades to like 24 damage, which is completely dumb and an absolute ton. Pounce is okay if you're having trouble. If you have like the payoffs and you're struggling to find the enablers, you have like Reflex and Tactician and stuff. Pounce is not terrible because it will let these cards be played for free. It's decent. It's not the best thing you can do. Reflex and Tactician are the other two really good ones here. Reflex saying draw 2, upgraded to draw 3. Tacticians gain 1 energy, upgrade to gain 2 energy are completely stupid. Um, the best power for this ability is not actually Speedster. Speedster is really good, especially upgraded Speedster, where every time you draw a card, you're getting an extra 3 damage. 2 damage is fine. 3 damage is great. It amplifies much better. But Well Laid Plans is gas. Well Laid Plans to say, oh no, I saw this turn. I saw as you're getting set up, I saw one of my discarders, but not a discard. You can use Well Laid Plans to hold that till next turn. You can just block in the meantime and win. It is the strongest strategy in the game. It is the easiest thing to build in the game. All you do is you say, I'm going to draw, I'm going to discard, I'm going to win for it. You need to see common cards to make this happen. And then there's some really, really good uncommon payoffs that are as good as rares in other factions. We're actually going to do Defect last and skip to Necrobinder. I'm going to tell you right now, Necrobinder is probably my worst champion. I'm still winning with him a reasonable amount, but I'm not pushing myself up the rarity meter as much as I am with the others because he's a little harder to use. But I found most success with Necrobinder lately when I gave up on Asti, and I know it hurts and sucks to get rid of Asti, but Souls and Ethereal are the real powerful thing to do. And you're going to see why almost immediately when you look at this. So the first Ethereal card is Defile. That's 13 damage for 1. That is crazy, crazy damage. Ethereal means you have to play it or it exhausts. The exhaust seems like a downside, but it's really kind of not because it just makes your deck thinner. It lets you add cards to your deck without too much trouble. The Defy, meanwhile, Ethereal, 6 block, 1 week. That's worth it. That's worth an upgrade. Right, 7 block, 2 week. Weak is insanely strong in this game. Anything that says weak, you want to consider. And this is just a block and a weak, like a full 6 block and a weak. That can upgrade to 2. It is incredible. And if you don't play it, you're totally, totally fine. We have 7 damage and vulnerable from Fear, which is okay. It's not as good. Yeah. What else do we have? Delilah. We have Defy. We have Grave Warden. 8 block, add a soul to your draw pile. A soul is a ethereal card that when you draw it, you play it and it draws 2. You're never going to let it be ethereal, right? It's just going to exhaust itself. It's going to draw you extra cards. It's going to draw you through your deck more quickly. And that 8 block, that's a big number on a 1-drop, and it's giving you that key card, right? So it's getting you through your deck more quickly and giving you the big number that can keep you alive as you do that, which is again, incredibly strong. We have Oh, then we don't have a bunch for a while, right? We have a ton of Doom. We have a ton of Asti. I'm pretty sure, almost 100% sure Doom is a trap, right? But I think Asti is also more of a trap than he looks like. We also have, I'm missing one here. Where is this last card? Give me 1 second to figure it out. Grave Warden, Reeve. We have Reeve. 9 damage, add a soul. That's again a really big number. It's saying I get a card that lets me draw ahead in my deck. I get a card that lets me draw ahead in my deck, and I get 9 damage up front. Like that's absolutely stellar. Reeve is really, really good. Then we have Sculpting Strike. 8 damage, and it adds ethereal to a card in your hand. And let me just tell you, 80% of the time that's going to strike or defend, and you're just going to be like, oh my god, I just got a card remove in the middle of a combat for the rest of this combat. When it goes longer, you're going to feel like that's absolute heaven. That's one of the best things to do. And lastly, Wisp. I absolutely love Wisp. So gain 1 energy exhaust. I want extra energy where possible with this champion because I want to build as much ethereal stuff as possible, and I want to play the stuff I want so it doesn't discard. This really, really comes together at the uncommon level. The commons are good, largely because they have big numbers. But once we start to get to uncommon, we actually start to break this strategy wide open. So the second you see these uncommons, you really, really, really go to town. You could end up stuck with an Asti build from uncommons, and that's probably why I have trouble because I'm a little too easy to go into those Asti builds. But look at Capture Spirit. Enemy loses 3 HP. Not bad, right? And then you get 3 souls in your draw pile. That's wild. That's 3 draw 2s in your draw pile, which is going to set you up unbelievably well. I'll take borrowed time, by the way, in these builds to get the extra energy. You just have to be a little careful with it in longer battles. Don't get too much energy and absolutely kill yourself, right? But like, I'll take borrowed time for longer battles and win that way. Um, but like Clint, being able to play Capture Spirit is incredibly strong. Being able to use Death March. Where's Death March? Death March, right down here. 8 damage, deals 3 additional damage for each card drawn during your turn. So 8 damage, right? And then you play a couple souls with that, and all of a sudden you're dealing like 20 damage with that card. I know it seems like that's not going to happen. It happens so much. Like, it happens like all the time. It's completely wild. Another really good one. I really want Debilitate to be great, but it hasn't been. Um, Another really good one, Enfeebling Touch. Enemy lose 8 strength this turn. That is, in my opinion, the best. Well, that and Friendship. That's the best skill. That like it. Enfeebling Touch is just straight up a reason to run this champion and keep the deck small. Being able to take 8 strength off an enemy every turn basically just says that enemy is not going to be a problem. It's wild. Friendship, you're going to need to upgrade. Straight up, you're going to need to upgrade it to run it in this build, but lose 1 strength to gain 1 energy at the start of each turn is insanely good. The second you upgrade that, it becomes one of the best cards. It lets you play all the ethereal cards and use all that energy for the draw. Delay can work the same way, but at 2 energy, it's kind of expensive, and it's really hard to run 2 energy stuff early because you want to make sure you're getting as many of these ethereal cards in play as possible. From there, we have Pull from Below, if I can find it. Alphabetical is nice, right? Deal 5 damage for each ethereal card played this combat. This combat, not this turn. So you just play a bunch of ethereal cards. Eventually, you let them exhaust, and then eventually you can just sort of play Pull from Below over and over again and win. Um, Maybe I just need to see Putrefy. I'm not seeing Putrefy for anything. I don't think I've ever drawn Putrefy. Um, yeah. So I want to see Putrefy. We'll get to that at some point. My friend messaged me as I got slightly distracted. From there, we also have Page Storm. Not Page Storm. That's not what it's called. Something Storm. Pull from Below. I don't know what that's called. Whatever. I have no idea what that one is. My friend messaged me and I lost my spot. And then we have Veil Piercer and Severance. Okay, so Severance, deal 13 damage, add a soul to your draw pile, hand, and discard pile. Absolutely fantastic. 13 damage isn't a ton for 2, but it's fine when you're getting 3 draws out of it, including 1 that is immediate. Yeah, draw pile, hand, and discard pile is crazy. And then Veil Piercer is really nice. Deal 10 damage to the next ethereal card you play, cost 0. Again, getting those ethereal cards out. You have all these combos based off ethereal, and you get the biggest numbers on the champion for it. It's worth remembering very often, especially if you see Pull from Below. Excuse me. Parse is what I was looking for. I don't know what I wrote here. Page Storm right here. Whenever you draw an ethereal card, draw 1 card, awesome. And then Parse, draw 3 cards as an ethereal card. Those are fantastic. These are some of the bigger numbers on cards, and it's worth remembering having bigger numbers means that you're going to be able to block better, do more damage, draw and see more cards, and play more cards, and all of that combined means you're probably going to win the game. This is, I think, the best thing to do with Necrobinder. Again, Asti is so much fun, but I think Asti is kind of a trap. I build Asti basically every time I build Asti, I'm treating it like adding block cards to my deck. You can do other things with it, especially again at the rare spot. But if you're not seeing the rares, I don't think it's necessarily worth it. I think Regent is right now probably the strongest champion on this side of Silent. Regent is really good, and I am ignoring Regent's stupid big sword. Regent is all about his little stars, right? Like his little stars are what we're doing here. He's got an absolute crazy amount of stuff. Anything you see the little 3 stars on is probably a lot, right? We're looking largely for like 14 damages for all enemies is a ton, but we're looking largely for 1, like nice cheap ones like Cloak of Stars. See that Cloak of Stars? That's fantastic. We want to see things that have the little stars on them. So Cloak of Stars is great. What else is really good? Cloak of Stars goes amazingly well with Gathering Light. If you play Gathering Light and you have Cloak of Stars, you've just paid 1 energy for 14 block. I'm just gonna let you know that's a really good way to win in this game. How about Crescent Spear? 6 damage, deals 2 additional damage for all your cards that have a star cost, right? So Mid game, this is going to start dealing like 15, 20 damage. Again, absolutely huge. Glow is one of the best cards, best common cards around. Anything that's common that says draw is really good. This says gain a resource that doesn't go away, because remember, these don't go away between turns, and draw. I don't actually love Guiding Star. We're just going to keep going. 8 damage gain one is just decent damage for the benefit. We're really happy for that. Hidden Cache should be bad, right? Like when I first started, I was like, Hidden Cache is terrible. There's no way I want to get these next turn. But the thing is, they don't go away. So you can get that one, use that one on a block, right? And then you get 3 or upgraded 4 next turn, and you're just like, oh crap, I like win now. Hidden Cache is amazing. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to use this extra resource. We're going to build it up, and then we're going to do completely stupid things, right? We're going to use the cheap ones early, the cheap common uses of the resource, the 1 and 2 like little triggers of it to block and defend early in the combat, and then the longer the combat goes, the crazier we are. For example, whenever you spend or gain, you're going to do 3 damage to all enemies. That's pretty good. I have never managed to upgrade this. 4 damage to all enemies. 4 damage is, again, way more than 3. The 2 to 3, the 3 to 4 is absolutely, absolutely huge. If you've played enough Poison, you should know that. But that one's not as good as Child of the Stars. I've had my entire block plan be getting a couple Child of the Stars. Get 2 blocks whenever you spend gain 2 block for each of the whatchamacallit of the stars spent is completely nuts. You spend 6, 8 one turn, and you're just like, oh no, I just got my full block out of this. Child of the Stars is amazing. Uh, Next turn, gain extra energy and contain your hand. Convergence is silly. Retain your hand and get extra energy and extra stars is wild. And convergence just gets better and better. You get 2 stars and retain your hand out of the upgrade. Do you need the upgrade? No, but it's still pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. Devastate is one of the payoffs. You wait and you have 1 energy and you have 4 stars, and you just get a casual 30 damage. Wildly good. How about 2 weak and 2 vulnerable? 2 vulnerable and 2 weak is so much better than 1 vulnerable and 1 weak. Like the number 2 on that card, it just makes that one so much better, and it's worth the 3 there. What else do we have? 15 damage in 2 is kind of nonsense. Whatever. Deal 30 damage if it kills an enemy. Gain 5 stars. I'll take that, right? Like that's fantastic. Knockout blow is amazing. You can usually use that with the 0 cost block cards, right? Use that, kill an enemy, and then the 0 cost block cards take care of the rest of your nonsense. Guard this turn. No, we don't care about that. Don't care about that. We don't care about these. And again, we care about the 0 cost ones. 9 block that you return to your hand. It's just like, oh, as long as you've got 2, you've always got 9 block that turn once you draw this. Royal Gamble costs 5 but gives you +4. Is very, very nice. I don't actually like Resonance all that much. Reflect for 4, 3 stars, 1 energy, 17 block, and then it reflects all that 17 damage back to get through that block. 3 damage for each star gained this turn. This is clearly the thing to do, right? You use this to sort of use again your early cards, your strikes, your defends, your other stuff. All those cards, what they're built to do is they're built to let you get to a point where you have enough stars that you can just become untouchable, unkillable, unbeatable. So that's how we're gonna play this champion. Oh, I almost skipped my favorite. My favorite of all these is actually Shining Strike. I will happily play a Shining Strike almost every turn, especially once I get an extra energy. If I can figure out how to get an extra energy, I'll just play the Shining Strike every turn, and then I get +2 stars every turn, and it's just really, really solid damage. And then like I'm getting extra damage and block for getting that extra too, right? Because I'm gonna play all those powers and other stuff. This is again the most powerful thing to do. The stupid giant sword is a stupid giant trap. Ignore it. They're telling you what to do. This is the simplest champion around. It's just like you can either get the stars or you hit with a big sword. And I want to hit with the big sword, but I lose when I hit with the big sword, and I win when I use the stars as some value. And finally, we have Defect. Defect is a returning champion. He plays relatively similarly. We want to block early. We're not going to try and build lightning. We'll happily take cards like ball lightning, but they're not our goal here. What we want is we want energy and frost orbs. We want things like charge battery to give us energy. We don't want any of the of the status effects. Claw's okay, but like you need to see a bunch. We want Cold Snap and Cold Headed. Those are the two important cards. Cold Snap, which will be Channel Frost, draw 2 cards. Cold Headed, which is 6 damage, Channel Frost. We build up these Frost, and then we build up our 1 and 2 turn focus builders, and that becomes our block pattern. We do that, and then eventually we use some lightning or dark orbs, and we win the game automatically. It's not complicated. We already have zap. We can grab a ball of lightning. We can grab a lightning rod, and then our just cool headed and cold snap are going to win us the game. We upgrade a focus strike, and this turn we're going to have +2 to all of our thingies, to all of our orbs, right? We whatchamacallit, where is it? We use hotfix, we upgrade hotfix, and we're gonna get +3 to all of these cards this turn. And that's like basically our strategy. We use our we stall, we block, and then we have all of our orbs, right? And these orbs are the frost orbs are going to keep us alive and allow us to draw into our uncommons. And our uncommons are where we're going to win. So this is a basically stay alive champion, right? We use frost to stay alive, and then we're going to win. How do we win? Well, we can use, by the way, boot sequence can be a stay alive, leap can be a stay alive. We have a capacitor, so we can use a million frost orbs and be untouchable, or we can use a million frost orbs while we build up a darkness, while we let lightning chip away. That kind of thing is crazy strong. Chill, we can channel like 3 frost immediately. Sounds good to me, right? Don't like these, don't like these. FTL, deal 5 damage. If you've played fewer than 3 cards this turn, draw a card. Yeah, I'll take a free 5 damage, right? We do that, then we play some frost. Again, we just keep doing this. What else? Double energy or extra energy can let us go off. Darkness is insanely good, like crazily and insanely good. Channel an energy and trigger the passive ability of all dark orbs. Eventually, you get darkness there and you dual cast it, and that just defeats enemies. It just wins. Plasma's whatever. Plasma's fine, but it's expensive. Glacier. How about just 6 block and 2 frost? One of the best block cards in the game. You're happy for things like glasswork, but you'd much rather have things like hailstorm because that's passive damage while you're blocking. End of your turn, if you have frost, deal 6 damage to all enemies. Casual, why not? Loop at the start of your turn, trigger the passive ability on your rightmost orc, which again is likely to be block. Null, and now we're building darkness with weak. Weak is more survivability, 10 damage, and we've got dark. Like all these things to work together. You build up your dark and or lightning. Lightning is like worse than dark and glass, but fine. And then you have all of your frost just keep you alive and you win. It's so hard to beat that. Shadow Shield 11 is not a ton, but it gives a dark. Again, we're happy to use dark to just build up the superpower while we end up blocking everything by using frost. If there were like 2 more frost cards in the common uncommon pool, the game would be completely broken for synchronized, by the way, another big focus builder. The game would be completely broken for this champion. Right now, you are sort of at the mercy of seeing these blocks. That's the power of boot sequence and leap. You use them as you like dig for your frost. You want a lot of early hallways in order to do this, and then like once you got it, you start using the powers to win, right? You just say, okay, well, I've got all this infinite block. I'll take a thunder, and now my 1 lightning door or is dealing 6 damage, and I've got my loop to deal that damage twice or to get extra block twice, and all of this stuff really starts singing together, and you can amplify as you go. Take your hallways, take your frost, win with defect. All right, that's the video. That is how we end up playing. That's our best early strategy, the best commons and uncommon strategy for each Slay the Spire champion. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making it. And if you enjoyed it, please hit a sub, leave a like, leave a comment, help us out. And I'll see you tomorrow for another video. Maybe about Slay the Spire, maybe about Raid Shadow Legends, maybe about something else. Let's see. Peace.